Lechocha. That's exactly what Cyril is going to have quite soon. Now, Byron, I hate these terms. Let me just bring it up for the audience where they said they will, Ramaphosa will host a cabinet lechocha with the economy top of the agenda. First of all, idiots. It's a meeting, right? Or a conference. Lechocha is what someone who has monkeypox like cries out once a night when they wake up. It's not a real word. But anyway, the point of this lechocha is that they want to formulate a plan to deal with the economic harm to citizens caused by rising fuel and food prices. Hmm. Byron, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can't see what could go wrong, Ramon. I mean, if you read the article, it said familiar faces at the meeting include ministers, premiers, director generals of different government departments. And a lot has happened in the country and globally since their last meeting took place. You know, the
Hmm.
Russia's invaded Ukraine, global fuel prices, global food prices have risen. There's been a shortage. Oil's gone up. Uh, they're saying the US, Europe, and the UK have all tightened their fiscal belts, and interest rates have increased, and we've done the same. So, normal, everyday stuff has occurred. But, Ramon, come on. These guys also understand that things are slightly different in Europe. They're very different in Africa, and so we have a couple extra things to contend with, such as xenophobic attacks, crime statistics, corruption, and load shedding. So a lot's happened, according to these guys. So what they're going to do is they're going to go to all the guys that have royally screwed everything up already, and they're going to go, guys, we know you ruined the place.
Hmm.
This is the consequence of everything that you already did. I mean, you can see it's lovely. So how do we get some more of this? Let's have another and we'll figure out a way how to screw up even worse, I suppose.
I mean,
What's your view?
I just love the fact that the meeting took place. I don't know when, last year sometime, and then a lot of things took place, and they list like all of these things where any one of them would be like classified as an emergency, right? Like a crisis. But for us, it's like, oh well, there's no fuel anymore. We can't afford it. There's xenophobia. There's lots of crime, lots of corruption, a lot of load shedding. We'll just have the same meeting as we had last year. It's like you. It's like, come on, guys! Like this is a national crisis. Any of these points are a national
Mm.
crisis. There's like 12 of them, but now they decide to have the lachacha with everyone else. So, I mean, top of the agenda, of course, is the country's economic outlook, which, of
Mm.
course, is important. The economic outlook is extremely important. So, I think the outlook for the country, if I have to guess, would be about as let me see, ambitious as a sort of bowel movement by an 80-year-old granny. I mean, that's about the economic outlook that we can hope for this country. So I'm sure they will
I,
solve it.
I disagree, Ramon. I think the economic outlook of other countries looks fantastic. I mean, if you look at all the capital outflowing from this country to other countries, it's really good for those countries. I mean, not so good for ours, but I mean, who cares? Like the economic outlet abroad looks very good. So I think you're just looking at this the wrong way.
Okay, my bad, my bad. The economic outlook is good for everyone else except for us.
Yep.
So, I mean, they also say, the fuel prices are very high, and some of that is because of taxation, right, from the very ANC is hosting this meeting. So, overall, the Lachocha is going to come up with a package on how we can improve the situation. A package of
Mm.
what? Extra taxes, banning of cars during the hours of 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How can they improve the price of petrol in South Africa?
Well, it depends. Are we still being sarcastic or are we being real? Because if we were being real, we'd be like, just buy some freaking cheap Russian stuff and yeah, we'll fix the place. But I suppose then we'd actually have to have an oil refinery and we closed all of those because they weren't like green or something. But, the reality here is also, if you think about it from the taxation, they're like, economic outlook doesn't look very good. Let's remind ourselves, what did they suggest at the ANC conference? Was it tax cutting? inviting more capital to set up here because we've got good tax regimes. Oh, no, wait, it was a wealth tax on your worldwide gains so that they could fund free money for people. So free shit for everyone else, no shit for you. Give us all your money. I mean, that was a brilliant idea. I mean, come on, who wouldn't fall for that?
Well, I mean, the Europeans do love it. The OECD did have a taxation piece about South Africa, and they recommended that they should like close loopholes and then have a basic income grant for South Africa. So, I mean, guys, the ANC is pretty dumb for the most part. Like, it doesn't get its ideas from its own head. Like, a lot of the stuff does come from foreign influences, while at the same time they decry foreign influences, like in other areas of South African life. But overall, this Lehocha with everyone who caused all the problems that we are facing, I just feel deep down, Byron, I just feel it might not be enough to save South Africa. I mean, I'm not Adrian Basson, I'm not optimistic as he is, or enthused, because I met Raymond Zondo once. But I have a feeling that this Lehocha will not solve our issues as much as we would like.
Well, I think that's incredibly racist of you. I mean, these guys here do go on and actually raise some really, really interesting points. They said one of the reasons that we are concerned is that the top economies have tightened their financial stuff. Yeah, they actually said financial stuff. Stuff. This is as technical as it gets with the ANC, mate. Regarding interest rates, because of the inflation they are confronted with. This has a huge impact on emerging economies like ours. Let's just be clear. When he talks about that, he's basically saying we can't sell our minerals abroad because they can't manufacture it because they're not manufacturing in the same degree anymore. So what do we sell? Like, we can't sell our shit anymore. Like, we need to sell it abroad. So the minister added, yep, there was a minister who said financial stuff, added that the governments remained concerned about balancing the fiscal outlook while balancing spending and debt. Mate, I don't know about you, but when somebody says to me, I'm really concerned about my budget, I don't know how I'm going to keep spending and manage that debt. It's kind of like, you know what I really need? I need a second credit card. That would be great. Like, because then I could have one credit card. I could use some of the balance to pay off this credit card, and I might have some more money that I can spend on that credit card. I mean, that's the fiscal outlook. It looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
budget surplus. Who'd have that?
Yeah, I mean,
So racist.
yeah, and this is without the NHI, which will cost 300 billion rand, by the way, and this is without whatever rebalancing Eskom that will cost another few billion. So there's really no money now. So the best thing to do right now with no money in the cupboard is to spend more of it on nationalizing private healthcare, because that will solve all the issues.
I'm really glad you've mentioned that, because this same government minister that referred to financial stuff has said that the government would be assessing the implementation of infrastructure projects. So I'm assuming that he means Eskom 2.0, which we did a whole video on how it was a joke. And it turns out it's actually real, mate. Joke's on us.
Yeah, the joke is on us. But I mean, don't worry. It does create economic activity for the construction mafia. So there we go. My theory is the whole infrastructure project nonsense from the president is basically just to make sure the construction mafia is taken care of. Because as soon as there's infrastructure projects, there are building sites. And then, of course, the ANC needs its cut through its mafia called the construction mafia. So there we go. It's not about building bridges.
Did a whole documentary on it.
I did.
Guys, go watch it.
Right at the top of the page. It's not about helping the poor people who have to cross rivers and crocodiles to go to school. It's about, what can the construction mafia get by building this bridge on behalf of people. So anyway, I mean, that's basically the Khotla, whatever the hell they call it. As I said, I don't think it'll solve anything, but I'm so grateful that they're having it, because if they're having this, it means they're not passing laws to deprive us of our fundamental rights. So there's a little silver lining in that particular cloud.
Yeah, I find it a bit strange, though. I mean, the most significant, this is what the article says, the most significant talking point for the meeting will be on whether the government can develop a package to help alleviate pressures on citizens caused by rising fuel prices. For fuel, some is out of our control, but there is a part that comes from our taxation. Overall, the Lehocha is going to come up with a package on how we improve the situation, the minister added. How do you reckon they're going to do that, mate? You reckon they're going to lower taxes by any chance? You reckon they're going to suggest that we should maybe free up some of the green bullshit laws and allow a few more refineries to operate? You reckon they're going to import or lower the import taxes of like Russian fuels? Or do you reckon they're just going to like raise taxes? That will help. I know what will help. Let's tax everybody more. That way, that will definitely help with rising fuel prices because they won't be able to eat food. So then they can't complain about like
load
fruit
shedding.
or something.
I mean, you can't complain about load shedding if you're starving, right? That's a good point. So no, I think they're going to do good.
Can't complain about you can't get to work either if you're starving because you won't actually have the will to drive because you'll be too hungry.
Yeah.
So then you won't be complaining about fuel anymore, will you? Yeah. See? Clever thinking.
I do see that you have commented on that particular piece. User 608376, the first comment on that piece, where they say, the minister already said top economies have tightened their fiscal stuff. Good grief. What on earth is financial stuff? Was that you, Byron? Are you user 608376?
No, somebody else is stealing my ideas, damn it.
All right, there you go. Well, there's the Goatler. Let us know in the comments. Will this solve all our problems? Or maybe it's akin to what we are thinking, a massive circle jerk, where the people that created the problems are now tasked with solving the problems. And of course, when that happens, no problems are solved in the first place. So let us know down in the comments. And Byron, any last words from you?
Yeah, my final word is actually a comment, as you've now drawn my attention to the comment section. WDJR says, Minister, are all 7 premiers present? Sorry, all 9 premiers present? That's actually a very good question. I wonder if Alan Winde is going to this. My votes are no, but you never know.
Or maybe he is, but he's such a pushover, so who cares? Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. See you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.